all the mistakes of the mainstream media, and CNN in particular, seem to magically all go in one direction. Are we expected to believe that this is all just some sort of random coincidence, or is there something else behind it?
It's too bad. It's time for lunch. I think you're describing a different channel than the one that I watch. But I understand that that is a popular right-wing narrative about CNN.
That is a University of Chicago student. They're calling out CNN, Brian Stelter specifically. His name is Christopher Phillips. He joins us live now. Christopher, I'm sure it took a lot of courage to stand up to Brian Stelter to ask that question. You did so confidently. What made you do it?
Thank you so much for having me. I can't say that it was super duper easy, but just, growing up, I have understood that CNN has spread a lot of misinformation, and they kind of hold themselves to be the standard when it comes to news reporting and trying to report stuff correctly. And people make mistakes, but I see a lot of the times that CNN is unremorseful, and they frankly don't own up to the mistakes that they produce. So I asked him what gives as to CNN's bias.
Tell me some of the stories, if you can, Christopher. I mean, you would have a trough, if you will, to choose from. But what are some of the stories that you've seen that kind of, as you described, seem to favor one side versus the other? You can choose from Hunter Biden, Jussie Smollett. I think one of the biggest ones could be Kyle Rittenhouse, how that trial was handled on CNN. But talk to me about that. What really triggered you on that to notice that perhaps one cable site favors one side or the other?
Right. So, that is what I rattled off in my question is, for instance, I should have mentioned Kyle Rittenhouse too, but Jussie Smollett, Russia collusion hoax. They smeared Nick Salmon, and CNN was sued for that and lost big time. They had to settle because they were going to lose. And then, various other things that, like the Hunter Biden laptop affair, that was totally squashed. That's sort of the inverse. But frankly, I see that all the time. CNN pushes stuff that fits their narrative. And of course, we've seen in various recordings, they know what they're doing. They have made these comments where they knew that Russia collusion was a nothing burger. They knew there was nothing there, but they still continue to do it. Why is that? Because it pushes its narrative. It pushes the narrative of CNN, the leftist agenda. And of course, we know that this is all intentional.
You saw Stelter's response. It's time for lunch, and you're thinking about a different channel that has a right-wing narrative. How did you feel about that response, and what was your reaction to that?
Well, I honestly thought the answer was pretty pathetic, frankly. There's not a great answer to that question, because CNN's obviously in the wrong. But he could have at least said, I'm sorry for what we did. I'm sorry for telling lies on CNN, whether it was by mistake or not. I think it's intentional, of course. But even if you give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's a mistake, you can at least say, we try and keep a clean record. We apologize for that. But he really gave no apology, no remorse. We didn't see anything like that. It was basically, I haven't said those things. He also said that for some reason, because he yelled at a Biden aide once, that means he's not biased. I find that pretty ridiculous.
Oh, Christopher Phillips, again, undoubtedly showing confidence. And as you said, it wasn't easy to do, but you did do it. And you said something that clearly resonates with many Americans, as you see on social media and polling and elsewhere. Christopher Phillips joining us live. I'm sure we'll see you again. Chris, thanks.
Well, thank you. And feel free to check out the Chicago Thinker and myself on Twitter @CrispyTheTruth for more.